Content disclaimer: the views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed. Today's consciousness, today's consciousness, today's consciousness. What happened and how can we change it? From the pristine position that we held in today's consciousness, here's a new show just for you every Tuesday called Today's Consciousness. Be there and enjoy all the great special guest stars that will be passing through on a new show called Today's Consciousness. Today's Consciousness. Today's Consciousness. Are you ready to address all the things that are going on? And how can we heal today's consciousness? Today's Consciousness. Today's Consciousness. Right here on KSP TV. Today's Consciousness. What happened and how can we change it? Esoteric and metaphysical disclaimer. The information provided on this channel about the esoteric and metaphysical sciences like numerology, numerovation, astrology, and others is for guidance, edutainment, and reference only. It is based on probability, statistics, patterns, cycles, sequences, alternative spiritual and physical practices. It is not meant to be a substitute for professional, mental, and medical advice. Please always listen to your intuition and use these modalities in a way that feels most supportive for you. It's about guiding people. The only way you can make the world better is if you make the people better. It's about showing them the light of hope in themselves and their family. Everything in this universe is all about synchronicity.
Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Numerovation from the king. Learn the foundation from the king. Nana Pushe. 1 + 1 is 2. Be precise. 3 + 2 is 5. Guard your mind. Me plus you is mathematician. Learn from the one numerovator. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Me innovation from a king. Me the foundation from the king. Nana Pushe. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Numerovation from a king. Me the foundation from the king.
No, it's not about reading. It's about guiding. I don't do readings. I do consultations because you should know yourself as good as the back of your hand. You should know yourself. I want everyone out there to be clear that this is to serve you like a GPS serves you. Remember, each of us has guaranteed ourselves success. Be that magi, family. Be that magician. Be that numerovational motivated force. Welcome, family. Welcome. It's your brother King Simon in the building. In 5 minutes, we will have our great brother coming up momentarily, and his name is Brother Bdell. Will be in the building. Make sure you support his links right here. His email / his email, of course, is bridellrice@gmail.com. If you want to email and contact him, his IG, you could hit him up at Instagram, of course. That's Bdell 1014. His X, aka formerly known as Twitter, is at Bdell_1014. And of course, his YouTube channel, you can support him on his YouTube channel. That's Bdell 1014. And his Cash App, $, Bdell. So make sure you support our brother and what he's doing. We'll be sharing that in the chat right now. Let me share all of those links in the chat just in case y'all need to know. And now you know. Now you know. Now you know. Let me let y'all know what's also coming up before we bring our brother on in the next 4 minutes. We've got 4 minutes before the top of the hour. Before we bring him up, it will be 9 o'clock on the East Coast over here. And I hope everybody enjoyed Dr. Alicia last night. We had a good time on Today's Consciousness. You know, every Tuesday I do a thing called Today's Consciousness in the Conscious Community. What happened? How can we change it? And how can we heal it? And on Sunday, we got our beautiful sister, Miss Blue, is coming in, the Soulful Oracle. Spiritual healing is a journey. That is the topic for that particular. And we're going to go in and just show our spiritual backside all over the place. So big up to Miss Blue. She will be with me on that particular day on Sunday. And then the next Tuesday, we have Tassili Ma'at, the owner of Tassili Ma'at Raw Reality, Tassili Ma'at Raw Reality. She'll be here with Today's Consciousness on that Tuesday. And the next Tuesday after that, we have our brother Sharif Anail Bey will be with us the next Tuesday on the 27th. Okay, so that's going to be good. Big up to Abundance Child. She got a nice radio show going on WJVSradio.com. Don't forget the big tribute to Malcolm X celebrating his 100th birthday at his grave site. The buses will leave in New York from Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard State Building. And also they're celebrating 60 years of doing the pilgrimage, but 100 years for doing Brother Malcolm's birthday coming up. If you're into martial arts, like I am into martial arts and boxing and different things, my brother Soke Hassan is doing a great event on the 14th and the 15th of June at the Sheraton LaGuardia East Hotel in Queens, Flushing, New York. We're going to be there. They're going to be there. The family going to be there. And do remember, I will be speaking in New York alongside the Black Dot, Tefuru Azar, Adika Butler, myself, Baba Ifa Kunle, and opening up for me will be the one, the only Paris Williams. If you want to get your tickets right now, it's only $30 in advance. And then there's a live stream that you could also, but text that number that you see on the screen, 347-683-8122. That's 347-683-8122. And you just tell them that King Simon sent you. And big up to my sister, Nina Dunham. This is Aquarius Maximus mom. She has 2 great publications out right now, but she got a whole lot of them. Make sure you go to 52 Mirrors. Go get that book, 52 Mirrors and Queen's Code Within at levinuniversity.com, or book her for her cardology, astrology, or numerology services at 470-775-6434. And just want to remind everybody, make sure y'all support Baba Lloyd Strayhorn all the time, Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. Make sure you support my books also on Amazon and through Linktree/King Simon, the Numerator. Color Curiosity, one of the moderators that be in the building doing her thing with Color Curiosity and Color Therapy. Adara Moselle, hit up Adara Moselle because she is doing the energy work through Tantra and all of that. And big up to Dr. Shakira Moore, iridologist, teacher, and spiritual guide. Hit her up at Linktree/Holistica Healer. And of course, I got to big up my son. He got a great recording studio out there in New York. My son, Prince Imagine, Green Studio, NYC. He could do your audio book, artist development, recording, podcasting, event productions, all of that. And he can help you build that rhythm, okay? You know how we do. So the brother that I'm about to bring on, man, what can I say? This brother has been on fire. That's old school. On fire. That's old school. If you don't know old school, because old school could be true school. Y'all don't even play. I want to welcome for the first time on my channel. I've been bringing on a lot of first timers lately. So first time on my platform, King Simon presents Only Quality People. Young, chosen, and in tune. Yes, we're going to bring on the one, the only Bdell, my brother Bdell. How you doing, my brother?
Peace, brother. How you doing? Peace. How you doing?
I'm fine.
Salute to the family.
Salute to the young G as I'm the old G, doing what I do.
Right. Right.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, welcome to King Simon Presents Only Quality People, my brother. How you feeling? How the family?
Man, I'm great, man. Everybody's great. Everything is going great. Everything is smooth. You
Good.
know.
Good. I was watching your transmission today, a premiere on YouTube, and yeah, you go some light. There you go. I see some light. Great. You got light.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Good. And you had a lot of great information, man. You was dropping a lot of stuff, but we ain't gonna go there. Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna go a whole nother route because everybody see you on your channel. Of course, make sure you check out his YouTube. Everything is on the chat in the chat. Also, if you want to support him, go to his chat. His Cash App is up there. Did you ever get that PayPal or no? Or you just got the email?
I haven't had time today.
Okay.
Eventually, I'm gonna materialize it.
Yeah, because that's for the international. Cash App is not used internationally. A lot of people don't know that. So get that international popping, because people want to support you all over the world, man. So I want to make sure y'all get that going on, man. That's why I always let people that come on my show at least have a PayPal or Apple Pay or whatever. That could probably help out too. So first and foremost, brother, I want to get into who Bdell is from young and what stimulate a brother like you to do what you're doing, because today's environment, as far as amongst our young people, we're finding out that you've got the young ones out there, you got them that are in tune, but some of them don't even realize that they're chosen to do something, and sometimes they run from their purpose. A lot of us have ran. I could have ran from my purpose at one time, following friends or following people that just didn't mean me well because I was smoking and drinking and doing the crazy stuff in Brooklyn and throughout New York. I was doing my craziness. I knew how that was. And some people lose their path from young. A lot of people we know have transitioned from doing crazy stuff at young, from the youngest age of 12 years old. I remember Bdell going to Crossroads juvenile facility, and I used to speak there to go speak to the young people back in the day. And thank you to Miss Fox. I hope she's still alive. She used to bring us in there to speak. And the youngest murderer was 12 years old, about to go upstate at 13 as an adult, tried as an adult. He was leaving there, and he was a friend of one of the B-boy dancers, even though he was a child of one of the B-boy dancers. I forgot the B-boy dancer's name back in the day, but he was one of the children of that. And, he did something crazy and got caught out there. And to me, you could be chosen to do positive and chosen to do negative.
Right.
I'm always about that balance. What did you recognize at young, or what did your parents recognize in you as young? Were you into sports? Were you into something that could have shown that you was chosen even from that portion of your life? Let's go there, from when you was younger.
Well, I grew up in a balanced household, so I had the dualistic energies to balance out my feminine and my masculine energy at the same time. Plus, on top of that, I'm a Libra.
Yes.
So with me growing up in a balanced household, that was basically the catalyst to create a balanced individual.
Right.
So within that process, I played sports, I played basketball. I was also involved in boxing. But my first love was actually basketball. But over the course of the time period, certain dreams didn't materialize when I played sports, because I played, college basketball at the University in Chicago. So I was a point guard. So, just within the factors of sports, there's a spiritual mechanism that's acclimated to, because you have to cultivate some type of discipline in order to be in alignment, stay structured and to where you're able to achieve your goals on a, on a sports level. But, other than that, I stepped into knowledge. My biological mom, she used to be a part of the Nubian Nation. Right. Law community and stuff like that. So she had a lot of Dr. York's books. Right. So, over the course of time, I dug into them. But the book that really woke me up was Behold a Pale Horse. That was actually the first conspiracy book that I read, when I was in college. I read that front to back when I was a freshman.
So before we go further, go into that now. Now, when you was doing basketball, did you almost make it to a high level in the basketball? Was you about to become something?
I played Division II. I was really good. I was involved in. Almost made it to like the N1 thing. I was on like one of the top AAU basketball teams, in the state of Indiana. Like, basketball took me a lot of places, but unfortunately, due to external stimulation of the world, a lot of times, sports and other vices of music, they take away from your purpose. So it's a form of distraction. So I was caught up into that. So that's why it's imperative for our people to study natal charts and stuff to know what their child specializes in before they just throw them into sports. Because one thing about so-called Black people, we the only demographic of people on the planet who box ourselves of aspirations that few ever attain. So everybody want to be a basketball player. Everybody want to be a rapper. Everybody want to do all these other things that's basically cliche to the system. But in order to tap into your purpose, you have to think outside the box, and that's away from three-dimensional concepts.
Now, because your parents, your mom, was your mom or your father, or it was your mother, your father, or just your mom into the Nuwapian and the Ansar?
It was just my mother before unfortunately, she fell victim to drugs.
Oh wow!
And my dad had full custody of me, and then I had a stepmother who balanced out my energy over the course of time. To cultivate that feminine energy, so I don't get subjected to the masculine energy that was being propagated by my father. So within that, the apple don't fall too far from the tree. So I got full custody of my son, just like how my dad had full custody of me.
Congratulations, brother.
I appreciate it.
No, that's good. That's a good look, man. And it's interesting that you said that you was introduced through the Ansars and the what because I got a lot of information at the age of 14, and so I believe not knowing or recognizing that I was chosen out of the family to go down that path, and there was certain other people in my family that went down that path, but I probably, out of all of them that went into the Ansar community, I'm probably the only one that wrote the books and got out and became a reggae star and did all kinds of stuff and TV and radio, chosen at different intervals of time, because obviously in basketball you was chosen and almost went there, but you didn't get caught up in that distraction. But what was the book from Dr. York or Imam Isa at that time that's really stimulated before even the Pale Horse, because I know that was a powerful book by William Cooper back in the day. What really stimulated you out of Ansar community? What was introduced to you from your mom?
More than likely, probably the Holy Tablets and the Ancient Order of the Mystics. The Green Order of the Sons of Green Light.
Yeah, I was in the Sons of Green Light. I still got a card. I still carry my card, man.
Okay. Those books was, to set the tone for me.
Those now, from your perspective, like I said, I named this for a reason. I was listening to Nina Simone, Young, Gifted, and Black, and I said, no, I'm going to change this up. I was actually listening to Nina Simone, and my mind just said Young, Chosen, and In Tune, because I've heard you speaking about the chosen. Now, what does it mean from your perspective to be young, chosen, and in tune in this current generation of spiritual awakening?
Being a chosen one is a frequency of authenticity. So it's beyond the limitations that was connected to everything in third density, such as the psychologically inducement of the falsification process of everything that they created in their systems. So when you have the ability to think outside those paradigms, that's what makes you chosen. So one thing about people, they have to understand that when you change your mentality, you change your vibration, that vibration becomes magnetism. So when you're able to cultivate that magnetism, which is your magic, that's when you're able to manifest a reality, that's beyond, rap, sports, and all these other things, right? Like that. Because one thing about the system, like I said, it's the way they built, this westernized, Europeanized society. They built it to where everybody has a certain construct that they have to follow. And if you think outside and you deviate from that ideology, this is where you become castigated by family members, by people that was connected to the church, family members, exes, people in your household. When you start to disassociate yourself from those ideologies because you're trying to break a generational curse. So a lot of times that puts you in alignment with being the black sheep.
Right.
And the black sheep of the family always turns out to be the goat. We are the ones that, that has the transitional keys and the resources to heal the bloodline.
Right.
So, that's what it is. That's what it means to be chosen. It's basically becoming a person that you needed when you were younger, which is your higher self.
And have you noticed in this generation that, and I'm don't mean no disrespect to nobody, want to let people know, because everybody that I've seen to be in an organization with that was considered chosen, 5%. My brother Clarence 13X, he got killed and murdered in an elevator. Dr. York went through what he went through. Polite went through what he went through. They used to call him the young phenom.
Right.
Nature Boy going through what he gone through, and there's many others that I might not know. I'm talking about what I came out of under New York, from New York perspective. Being chosen comes with a lot of responsibility, and sometimes with great responsibility comes great power. But also we got to also remember, when you are considered chosen, you can't don't let it go to your head. No, don't let it go to your head. And I think a lot of them let it go to their head. A lot of them, let's be real. I'm gonna say these brothers that I just mentioned, even Dr. York, let it go to his head.
That's a fact.
So what do you think about that? What do you think about it?
You know what the inception of the problem is? So this is why, society, especially when it comes to the so-called black people, the reason why they target certain demographics like us is to destabilize, the family structure. Because when you destabilize it, you're not able to produce balanced children. So what I'm basically saying is that, a lot of people, as far as who got spiritual power, and they became master teachers, and they was able to galvanize an audience to where they're able to, demonstrate knowledge to their congregation. The reason why a lot of them get stuck in their ego is because they come from broken homes.
That
right?
part. There you go.
So that's why I'm saying, because now you're trying to compensate for the lack thereof. Let's just say a person didn't make a lot of money, they came from a poor household. So what they're gonna do in return over the course of time, if they don't go through a process of self-realization, they're actually gonna weaponize the spirituality.
Right.
And they're gonna use it as a catalyst for monetary gain, or they can create cults with it and things of that nature. So that's why master teachers, we have to do our own shadow work. You got to go through that process of self-realization. So that's why I talk about the ancient order of the spirit of Melchizedek. In order to tap into your true power and your authenticity, you got to go through the adept chambers.
Right.
Then become neophyte adept, and then you become a master. You master your emotions.
Exactly.
Because this system, they supplicate your emotions to the point it became a weakness. And the weakness was the money, the cars, the clothes. And a lot of those master teachers, they got caught up into that, unfortunately. So when you come from a balanced household, that means that you're able to see beyond the dualistic energies in the illusion. We know that everything around us is an illusion, but we have to use it to take us to the next step instead of trying to weaponize it. That's why I always say that you have to use the matrix in order to get out.
Right.
Because some of them just stay stuck there, but you're supposed to alchemize that energy.
Right.
As a resource.
And as a resource to propel you out of it, spiral out of it. Yes, that's right. That's right. That's why I tell people during a numerology session that you're not the number. It's just a guide to help you move forward. Don't say you're number 1 or number 5, number this, none of that. No, those are just things you can control and manipulate the numbers yourself. Well, most of them, when I go and read some of these European numerology books, they try to keep you in a pinhole when I'm like, nah, that's why I invented the word numerovation. Like, I'm stepping out of that. Nobody else got that word. Please don't do that to me. I'm not doing so. And again, that comes from my being kicked out of school at a young age. And that's why I realized, because there's moments, of course, that some people that consider themselves chosen. I've heard Doc say it, Imam Isa, Dr. York. Why I say Imam Isa, because I come out of that era. That's why I know what you're talking about. I knew him. Dr. York was just a singer, and he was just trying to get the message out. But Imam Isa is when I can go up and talk to him face to face, and that's why I tell people he never did anything to me. I never seen him do anything. I know him as that, and I left in 1988. That was it. But he said, Oh, so he got kicked out of school and he was in a mental health facility. They used to call him psycho back in the day. Polite was in a mental health facility. He got kicked out. He dropped out. Yeah, people, these chosen ones go through some stuff.
Yeah. Yes.
And,
yes.
and did you go through that similar thing back in your day as far as school and going through all that? I don't know why I'm here. I don't know who I am, and I don't know why I'm doing this. I shouldn't be doing that. But you, in the back of your mind, you knew you were supposed to be doing something else. Did you go through that too?
No. For the most part, my dad can vouch for this. My dad used to watch a lot of revolutionary movies.
Okay.
I used to watch a lot of Spike Lee movies, like when I was 5, 6.
I used to work for Spike, so
okay. That's dope.
I was doing the security. I was one of the security guys for Spike back in the day. So.
One thing about me, like when people who follow my work and my studies and my scholarship, I'm very visual.
Yes.
So you have to have receipts and give people the clarification that they need. So that ideology came from the fact that I used to watch a lot of movies when I was younger.
Right.
I used to watch a lot of revolutionary movies like, School Days, Do the Right Thing, Malcolm X. So I knew I was different because I had a different perception about reality at a young age. I knew that something was off.
Right.
I knew something, it was basically off in the universe to the point where, like, I knew at a young age where they try to invert reality, where they make the good bad and the bad good. And I used to always ask, question that reality in itself. So over the course of time, I was, very submerged into doomsday type of movies that perpetuate eschatology, which is the science of the end times. I used to watch a lot of stuff like that, and I used to tell my dad, I cannot wait till the world ends. I used to tell him that as a young child, and I used to tell him that, oh, you want to be in the NOI like Malcolm X. So the perception of art imitates reality. So over the course of time, when I used to watch that, it embarked upon my lifestyle over the course of time. So I was always a chaser of knowledge. So and it was because of it was because of what I was watching. And, over the course of time, like some people would say, well, they had all these, the violence and stuff in the movies, but I was able to see beyond that. So,
and that's interesting because you're connected to the number 14, and in numerology, the number 5 is connected to disaster, and crisis know how to manage crisis well. They know how to adapt to it. So that's one of, if you go in like Lloyd Strayhorn book, he breaks that down about it. They know how to deal with crisis management and disaster. And the word disaster adds up to 32 in one system and 23 in the other system. Boom, 5. I said that they able to adapt and be versatile and overcome. That's why I always do numerology for number 5. I tell them, y'all, the motto for y'all is like the Marines: learn to adapt, improvise, and overcome.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to disaster preparedness. I studied disaster preparedness for over 20 years. So with Eitan Edwards, the IPN, who is a Gemini, which is connected to the number 5, which is another craziness. So again, that's what I look. I see the mathematics and all of it. But and I find that very interesting that you was geared towards that end of times, end of the world. Are you afraid of dying?
No. The only thing that I'm afraid of is not reaching my full potential before I make my transition. That's my only thing, because I want to leave a mark on this planet to where I played a big role in the Great Awakening period as far as like revitalizing the infrastructure of those who come from broken families with information that's going to propel them, in the future.
Now, what do you say about the generation, not even the older generation, but even now, that they get so extreme to the point that they don't even want to balance it off with normal life? They get extreme with their relationship. They get extreme with their parents, because even when I got the knowledge and wisdom at 14, I was like very rebellious with my mother and them. I'm not eating pork. I ain't doing this. The 5% had me. What do you say about the young people that are going through those extremities right now and disrespecting probably their parents and all of that going on right now? Please explain how should they deal with it?
It's like that process of going through the dark night of the soul. So when you're going through that process, it's going to be very chaotic, because now you're able to see beyond the illusion. And then when you expose the illusion, that's going to cause a lot of friction in your household. So this is where you get castigated. People start to scrutinize you, because of your thought process. So a lot of times that can, channel misplaced aggression to where you start, arguments and fights and stuff. So that's why, once we get the information, we got to stay tapped into the shadow work. So when we heal and we get the information, we're not going to weaponize the information. That's like I was saying in my level up video.
Yes.
In my level up video, I was telling people that they always want to skip over to the esoteric knowledge and they want to skip the healing. You got to do the healing first. You talking about all this other Anunnaki and all that, and you got get out a sink full of dishes. So the thing is, we got to work on ourselves before we get to the high level information. We can't take no shortcuts no more. We can't afford that no more.
And I think that's because of navigating through distractions. Yeah. Remember, this is a fast-paced society. Everything is fast. Our attention span is fast. I mean, you go to TED Talk, they only do 18 minutes for a reason because of the attention span. I have a few clients that's on TED Talk. So how do they balance off the distractions, the young people as well as older people? Because some of the older people are trying to follow the young people now. So how do they balance off their distraction so they can find their chosen purpose to stay in alignment with who they are?
Well, to do everything in increments, because anything too much is too bad for you. You got to operate by way of increments and know the way to pull away from your energy when you reach a level of sensory overload. That's what it's all about. Sensory overload. Sometimes you got to hit the reset button. You got to hit the reset button and learn how to relax and be gentle with yourself. Some people, when they just get up so submerged into the information and they go so hard with it, it becomes spiritual psychosis.
Yes, I can attest to that. I can attest to that because I to the point that when I was in all these different communities, from the 5% to the Ansar to the Nation, I went back to the club life after I left the Nation. I had to find my balance and find my equilibrium, but I wasn't smoking. I didn't drink. I didn't do because all the discipline was still with me. I was even hiring brothers and sisters from the Nation to do security for me while I'm in the clubs. But there's something that says I'm missing something. I need to go back into entertainment and do something. And when I came out of the Ansar Allah community, I went up to number 5 in the chart singing Black and White Story, a conscious song on regular. I had to teach through music. And so I see where you're coming from. Because again, sometimes, remember Donnie McClurkin's song, we fall down and we get up. We'll fall back down.
Yep.
If you don't learn to gradually know how to grow into this. And that's what I realized with my own life.
Facts.
So how can these young people, give them some solution on how can these young people develop a certain mindset and deal with their purpose on a gradual way? And what is it that Bdell did? I know it's not going to be your way you did it is not for everybody, but what is it that Bdell did when he started realizing that he had this information and was willing to disseminate it in his own way? How did you balance it off with relationship, with mom, with dad, with family, whatever? How did you balance it off?
Mental transition. As I reiterated before, when you change your mentality, you change your vibration. That vibration becomes magnetism. Because when you give your energy to distractions, that creates manifestation blockers. So some people can't manifest their own reality because they got too many things pulling on their energy. So sometimes you got to let certain individuals go in order to tap into a certain mindset. So you have to get this right here and balance it with the heart in order to reach the apex of your purpose. So a lot of people haven't found their purpose is because they're stuck in a mindset. You got to get away from the club, get away from the women, get away from the smoking, get away from the drugs. And you alchemize that energy as a transitional shift, which is a portal, which is tunnel vision to where you're able to be focused.
Right.
So it's one of those things, man, you got to fix your mindset. Everything that they taught us, you have to invert the energy and you alchemize it and use it as fuel to get to the next level.
Right. And a lot of people are so in a rush. As soon as they get the information, they're ready to throw it out there. As soon as they get it, I just learned about angel numbers. I'm going to break down angel numbers for a whole week. See, you just learned it on YouTube the other day. And to me, YouTube or social media has become a major distraction. And it can help, but sometimes it can destroy. the fiber of certain people. So in your journey, how has being in tune helped you discern real connection from spiritual clout and false energy?
The mental process. First of all, I look at, the best way to discern that energy is you have to look into the fact that what's the apex of their message? Like, are they really trying to get me to buy something from it or whatever? Because like I said, with me, I just give out free information. I don't try to financialize my information to the point where I feel like information should be free. So sometimes when people try to go over the top, you giving women spiritual baths for like $5,000, that's got me kind of like looking at you sideways.
$5,000 for a spiritual bath? Wait a minute.
Well, there's some people who got stuff they got on their websites and stuff like that.
I never heard that one before, but and damn it, I'll just jump in my bath and pour some salt in there.
Yeah. I might have over sensationalized it, but 9 times out of 10, but stuff like that. Now, but I believe in the law of reciprocity, to where the energy that you put out, the universe must bend to its will to give you that energy back in the form of reciprocity. So my thing is just when people there's always a catch with it.
Right.
You can tell when there's always a catch to the information that they're putting out to the masses.
And that's interesting, because again, every organization I've been in, it was still about making reciprocal money, finance, you providing information, providing books. We out there propagating, people donate. I remember being in the unsung community and I didn't have no money. But, Doc put us out there with a bowl and a white robe, and I was able to beg up $30, go buy some oils, and it sent me $100 to go and turn in to Dr. York at that community back in those days, because we had to bring in $100 a day. So it was about maintaining the community, the children's bait, the women's bait, and the whole structure over there on Bushwick Avenue back in the day. So, and I also worked in the pizza parlor. So I understand the need for currency, and it's not just free information, because really no information is really free, because you had to go and dig it up to go find it. And some people, let me tell you, some of the elders had to go and fight for this information, had to go behind enemy lines, become spooks who sat by the door to get this information. Worked for Rockefeller and Ford Foundation. People don't know that Dr. Khalid Muhammad had certain things from Ford Foundation just because he went to a college, but he was a spook that sat by the door and got the information and came back out and started, yo, this is what we doing. Dr. Africa was in the military with a military nurse, got the information and say, this is what they're doing, family. This is how we got to. So we got to also look at those things and what happened, because people still got to maintain their families, still got to maintain their bills. People still working jobs. I knew people that was lecturers and teachers working a job still. Yeah. And it's real. It's real. The family that are just tuning in, we are with our brother Bdell. Make sure you hit him up. If you want to find out more information about him, you can email him and talk to him if you want to book him or do anything or get some services. His link tree, his IG is up here. Also Bdell 1014. His X is up here. Bdell _10_ is double underscore, 2 underscores with that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 2 underscores with that 1014. Of his YouTube channel is Bdell 1014. His Cash App is Bdell, right? Bdell, that's how you say it?
$ Bdell Rice.
$ Bdell. What is it?
Rice. Right. My last name at the end is supposed
his last name in it. Let me make sure I got that on there right, because I want to make sure we got that, because I didn't put the rice at the back. All right, Rice. Good. All right, there. It fit. Good. Okay. Now, Bdell, a lot of people are leery about what's going on in the world today, because a lot of the negative news being put out there is lowering their frequency, and a lot of mental health is happening. And I listened to what you said, and I see that you try to give a lot of balanced stuff. I know you was talking earlier today about the 80 years and what was going on and all that. I was listening to that premiere, and a lot of the stuff I've heard before with sometimes from back in the day, but if people don't know how to handle the information, what do you say to those young people or people in general that don't know how to handle information, and all of a sudden they want to get a whole bunker, they want to do this, they want to go, they just become so erratic and crazy out there in them streets? What do you say to those people, and how do they handle information that you're providing them with on your channel to let them know about this going on? Because I was understanding everything you were saying because I know about the COG centers, the continuity of governance. Yeah. I know about it because I was teaching disaster preparedness. But one thing about me, when I was teaching it, I try to teach it in a jovial manner because we all gonna leave here. We all gonna die. Yeah. We all transitioning. So I want you can either choose to leave on a good note or a bad note. It's totally up to you. How do you offset and balance that? Because some people take the information and run a whole crazy monkey to it. They become a whole monkey to it. But how do you help them to offset and balance that with what you're disseminating, my brother?
Well, you have to use your emotions as a navigation system. Balance out the emotions with the logic. Okay. Because when you're able to do that and unify those energies, that creates a Merkaba. And a Merkaba is the sigil of Thoth, who is Tahuti, who is Hermes, who is Enki, who is also the spirit of Melchizedek. Right. So there's no reason to need any type of external stimulation to have some type of self-preservation on this planet when you have a crisis or a calamity. The best way to do that is to be balanced. When you're balanced, that creates a certain energy to where you're going to be protected. Right. Now, this is where it gets into like the whole metaphysical energies or whatever, because balanced energies as far as the heart and the brain, because the heart is 1,000 times highly magnetic than the brain. So when you're able to balance out those energies, it's going to create a force field, a force field of protection. That's why they said in the Bible, I think it's in the book of Revelations, they talk about how the chosen is going to have the seal of God on their foreheads, right? And that is a tetrahedron, which is the personification of a Merkaba, right? So just by way of your mental process, you got to, our people have to change our mindsets. That's the key. Right. You know, some people think spirituality is all about head wraps and crystals, but it's all about changing the mindset. Because when you change your mindset, you can no longer be tricked by the system and fall for their black swan events in their psychological operations. So the protection in itself is not a bunker. It's not anything outside in this three-dimensional world. Right. When you're able to balance the mind and the heart, it's going to create a force field of protection. Right.
And that sounds again, I may understand it. Yeah. You may understand it. Yeah. The woman you might be sleeping with may understand it, but the world just don't get it the way we, and it's not meant for everybody. I know many are called, chosen a few.
Only few are chosen. You know, that's why he was pushing that green light. That's the energy of protection. That's that protector. That's that ethereal energy.
Right, because even back in the Islamic world, when we was, in the Ansar, we always that mark on the forehead was after prayer. So we prayed so much, we had a forehead mark right there, and that's when we thought we was 144,000 from that perspective. This is 80s. Now we're looking for the 144,000 now. Again, is there really a such thing as 144,000, or is it just a symbolic thing from your perspective?
Well, now from a biological standpoint, when you activate the neurotransmitters, it creates more neurons, and those neurons create dendrites and magnetites. So you have a crystal structure on the cerebral capacity of the brain, which is the 144,000 crystals of what they call the crown on Jesus's head. You can look at it from that standpoint. So that's also in connection with the crystal city, because when we go through a process of crystallization, that's when we become the crystal city. Right. So, so it's also acclimated to a form of genetic activation by way of the mind. When you talk about right knowledge and Christ consciousness. And then it also comes from the fact that it's a frequency, the divine union of the man and the woman that creates centripetal and centrifugal forces of nature. So when the man and the woman come together, that creates a Merkaba. And that Merkaba in itself has an energy of the 144,000. That's the energy to escape the firmament, to escape the demiurge. So that's what we call breaking out of the square and the circle process. The square is the embodiment of the material plane, and the circle is the embodiment of the spiritual plane. It equates to 360 degrees. So in order to balance out those energies, the flower of life is activated by way of the Merkaba. That's how you escape the system. So it's a frequency. 144,000 is a frequency that is activated by way of right knowledge.
Okay, so it's a frequency. So you wouldn't say it's an amount of people per se.
It could be an amount of people that has that thought process.
Okay.
Or it can be 144,000. It can be a misnomer. It can be the number 9.
Well, I know that.
I need the activation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
With us being in the 9 year, that's the snake year. So
right.
So the year of the Kundalini serpent.
Right, and that is one of the highest single-digit numbers in the highest planes, and that deals with higher level of not only intuition but also of awareness with that number 9 also, and it's a 0 and a 1 put together. You look at it, there's a male, female, male. They doing their thing. Big up to Praise 7, man. Thank you for that super sticker, family. Remember, you can donate to the channel if you want, as much as you can. Do what you got to do. Also, I got Bdell's links in the chat. Also, maybe let me put that in the chat again for y'all so you can support our brother by any and all means, metaphysically leveled up and necessary. Please show our brother love, regardless of what, This is, you look at that nice place back there. It takes a lot to keep the lights on over there. I can tell. So, stop playing. You know what I'm saying? Now, let's go down this road here. Now, one word to describe your spiritual journey so far. What would be the one word you would use?
Evolution.
Why evolution? Why evolution?
The reason I say evolution because I'm content with what I'm doing while still being balanced. So I'm not picking a side.
Okay.
So that's the only way you can be in a state of evolution is the path of the middle way, which is the path of La Lut. The path of La Lut is how you get to the next level.
Right.
So when you go through the path of La Lut, that puts you at the epicenter of the galactic center, where they have fifth dimensional civilizations, where you're pulling down energy from the mental plane to where you can materialize that in physical form on third density, where you are reality, basically. So being in alignment as we going through this transitional shift in a earthly metamorphosis, balance is the key. The only thing that matters right now is balance, because the ethers is balancing everything out as far as like the reset.
Right.
So you gotta be operating at 0 point energy. So because, like I said, because the illusion in itself is the dualistic paradox. The same things that makes you happy is eventually going to make you sad. So you gotta stay in the middle, because if you're too happy, you're too sad. If you're too sad, a demon can still attach himself to your frequency. You're too happy, a demon can attach itself to your frequency. So you got to stay content while being in the state of evolution. So evolution is basically the blueprint to my whole spiritual journey while still maintaining the balance.
That's interesting you say that, because the happy
somebody put the wrong cash app. I'm not Bdell cocky. That's wrong.
That's wrong. Let me take that off. That's wrong, darling. That's not wrong. I don't know what that is. Where you get that from?
That's not my name. I don't know who that is.
I got it up here. Bdell Rice.
Yeah.
Rice. I got it up there already. There it is already. So she must have made a typo, but that's a weird typo. That's a weird typo as far as I'm concerned. Lord have mercy, it's a weird typo. But I got it up here on screen already, family. Let's stay focused. So brother Bdell, let's get some solutions for our young people and our people. What's one daily habit that keeps you aligned with your higher self? 1 or 2 or 3, but give us one of them at least that keeps you in line with your daily, aligned with your higher self.
Discipline. The discipline that you dodge today is going to be the baggage for your ass tomorrow. So you always got to be disciplined. Right. Because discipline, meaning that you need 4 different wins every day. You need a spiritual win, a mental win, a physical win, and a financial win. So reading, meditating, working out, being able to alchemize your resources to where you're able to make more money, that's always going to put you in a state of evolution. So discipline is always the foundational blueprint, which creates balance. And once you're balanced, that's when you're able to attract, because now you don't have any type of blockages to where you're trying to manifest your own reality. So a lot of times, this system, like I said, they supplicate your emotions and they transmute it into a weakness by way of your emotions. So if you keep your emotions balanced with logic while still trying to have discipline, and you're having a mental win, a spiritual win, a physical win, and a financial win, you're always going to tap into the energy of your higher self.
Any books or quotes or anything that the elders dropped that changed your life? And would you suggest people to read certain books or quotes or say certain
the quote that you told me over the phone maybe 2 months ago?
Which one?
Everything that you want in this life is on the other side of fear. That's a fact.
Oh man, Dr. Khaled's son said that, man. I remember him saying that. Dr. Khaled Abdul Muhammad's son, Farrah Gray, said that. Yes.
But some books that I read, this is what I use this as a reference to autonomy.
Oh man, put it down a little bit. Yes, I remember that. Yes, I remember that book.
This is one of my favorite books.
Yes.
Again, this is just like about Melanin 101.
Okay.
God to Knowledge Itself by Baba Lawrence.
Yes.
Then if you want to get into the Hebrew, I'm not a Hebrew Israelite, but I still study because I study the science of circumology.
Yes.
So you got to understand all perspectives to get the truth. So this is a good publication, The Blue-Eyed Beast. Right. But it gives you the origins of the European. And I got another book. Hold on for a second. This is the one I'm reading right now.
Go ahead. Okay, the brother is going to get some books there. We don't want to see everything else. The brother's getting some books. Let's support our brother.
I got it right here.
Oh, you got it? Okay, let's show it to him. Go ahead, show it to him.
Right here.
Raise it up. Okay. Oh, we are not black. Oh, wow. That's a powerful. Yeah.
And it's
Who's that by?
This book is by Truth Ali.
Truth Ali. Okay.
Yep. And it's got pictures in it and everything. So it's a balanced publication.
So what do you think about what's going on now? Everybody's throwing out the indigenous over here and negating the African talk over there. What do you think about all this that's coming up now in this side? And I know we were indigenous to this side of the world, but I think because I grew up with the elders in New York, and I understood that they wanted to dispel a lot what European was doing in Africa, because they wanted to take Africa and get all their resources. We knew what they was doing. We had to go and fight for that place. But what do you think about all that is being found here? The pyramids or the mounds that's being found. What do you think about that, my brother?
Oh, this is the great revealing.
Yes,
this is a part of the transitional shift. This is a part of the spiritual metamorphosis.
Yes.
But as I reiterated before, the fall of the Vatican popes of Rome basically symbolizes the fall of the corporation. So when you had the Queen and you had the Pope fall, those were the dualistic energies that control the three city-states of the Vatican, the City of London, and Washington, D.C., which controls the military. So when you have the fall of the pontification period of the Pope, because an American Pope basically symbolizes the fall of an economic system. The Pope, he owns the titles of everybody's birth certificates, right?
Yeah, that's right. Vatican.
So they own all the titles of the birth certificates that's connected to the economic system of Wall Street. So the fall of the church is the fall of the corporation. So that's the fall of patriarchy. So everything that they build as far as patriarchy, because the Vatican Church, they own 177 billion acres of land on an international level. That's right. So they build their churches, their hospitals, and their banks on top of the matriarch. So when you have a shift in the land masses, that means that Mother Nature is activating itself to destabilize the patriarchal energies that they created by way of colonization. So that's what the reset is all about. You see in the reverse.
Now, I know a lot of people was expecting either the Asian Pope or the Black Pope, but this other Pope, Leo, popped in and just and interesting. In the age of Aquarius, Leo shows up on the other side. That's very interesting to me. I mean, I don't know if you peeped that, but the guy's named Leo.
Yes.
And if you want to, and I tell people that even under that sign, if you even in the age of Aquarius, the Leo will benefit because you're the other side of it. Like Sister Myra would say, she don't believe in the 12 sign, she believes in the 6 signs, where Aquarius and Leo. So if in order for you to rule Leo, you have to know, because Aquarius is about knowing.
Yeah.
If you want, you're the ruler, yes, but you gotta know what's happening. With knowledge, information, technology, the rebel energy is happening. What do you feel about this new Pope coming in?
The new Pope symbolizes the judgment of America, and I broke this down not too long ago, because When you get into the ancient Alpha symbol and the ancient Hebrew Tav symbol, it's the personification of judgment, which creates transitional shifts within, historical timelines. So the ancient Alpha symbol and the ancient Tav symbol is the embodiment of Alpha and Omega, which is beginning and end, which is the number 19. Right? So the number 19 is connected to artificial intelligence because A is the first letter.
That's right.
I is the ninth letter.
That's right.
So now we living in a time right now where the system has to, resurrect itself by way of activation of nature. So the Pope, he basically symbolizes that ideology because he represents the dualistic keys, the keys of papacy that took us right back to the galactic center. So that's why he had to open up those 5 portals on New Year's Eve, right? So it all started with a black pope, so it has to end with a black pope. So that's the correspondence that's actually taking place in real time.
So do you think that this pope will probably die prematurely?
I'm not sure. It's kind of tricky. But
the black pope is in the black pope is in the background. He's chilling, ready. You know, saying what up. I think he's a Libra too, if I'm not mistaken. I think he's a Libra. He born October 11th or something. He like, yo, let this master number come in and ride this donkey.
because that's the illusion of choice that we have. Everything that they created in the system, you have to have 2 of everything.
Right.
So when you have black nobility in the background, while they put the European as the face of the whole system.
Right.
That's where the technology and the semantics, begin to take place.
Right.
Because people are still caught up in colorism, not understanding that the great majority of these so-called European popes were actually mulattoes back in the day.
That's right. They were. Especially when you go to J.A. Rogers' books. And all the 100 amazing facts about the Negroes by J.A. Rogers. All of J.A. Rogers' Sex and Races, he showed you that they were mulatto or mixed. I mean, even what's his face? J. Edgar Hoover was mulatto. People don't realize that. He go back to that. You know what I'm saying? I got his book and I lost that in storage. I have a book of his family breaking down his whole lineage, man.
Oh, wow.
Right? Yeah, they have a book out there of not J.A. Rogers, of what's his face? The guy of COINTELPRO. Yeah, Gay Edgar Hoover. That's what we used to call it. Yeah, Dr. Khalid used to just say that all the time about it. All the time, man. Now, being that you're a student of people like Noble Drew Ali and Dr. York, what are the key differences that you see between their teachings? Because I know Doc started with Islam and then went through all of the different gamuts, but Noble Drew Ali, before he passed on, stayed true and focused. What's the difference you see between that, going back to
the difference I see is that, Dr. York, he was kind of more of like a Sufi Muslim.
Yes, he
was more like an esoteric Muslim.
Yes, he was.
And Noble Drew Ali, he propagates, the traditional components of, of Islam, that's connected to, the socio-political aspect of civics, and it's also connected to their. It's not a religion; it's a way of life.
Way of life, right? That's what it is. That's right.
So, but the only thing with Dr. York, he broke down different schools of thoughts.
Yes,
then he brought you to the extraterrestrial stuff. Noble Drew Ali, he just kind of stayed with the traditional teachings. I don't know if it was because of the time period or whatever, but that's the difference that I see. Because Dr. York, he was going through the religious systems to pull them out of the religion because he was exposing it. He was bringing you to we could talk about reptilians now because you understand this, the Deros, the detrimental robotoids, and Arcturians and Stanford's, Galactic Federation. Noble Drew Ali, he kind of stayed to the traditional aspects of it because, if you look at the sigil and then you look at the pamphlet of, the Moorish Science Temple, that showed Noble Drew Ali bringing the black woman out of the water.
Yeah, out of the water.
Raising up the matriarch, right?
That's right.
So he kind of stayed more to he was propagating, religious principles while, propagating sovereignty at the same time.
From your perspective, if patriarchal and matriarchal are European words,
yes,
can the matriarch survive without the patriarch? I know the patriarch can't survive without the matriarch.
Facts.
But can the divine feminine survive without the divine masculine? Let's put it like that. from your perspective?
I mean, well, from a metaphysical and a biological standpoint, you know, the black woman, she has the prokaryotic cell, which is the first organism in the universe.
Mm-hmm.
So before, you know, since, you know, the inception of time, they didn't need any type of masculine energies on this planet at one point in time.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, when you look at the inception of history, everything started with a sun cycle, and the sun cycle is facilitated by a matriarch.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was saying in one of my transmissions, you know, a year ago, you can't have a democracy in a sun cycle.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like breaking universal law, because a matriarch is facilitated by a republic,
right,
which is why you have Donald Trump in office, or he's been in office since the fall of, you know, the deep state shadow government.
But so, in some terms, some people call the sun a masculine energy.
Yeah, some cultures, and I've also heard people say, well, the dualistic energy, the matriarch. This is a book. Hold on, I got another book for you. I know
you got no. Go ahead, show me another book, brother. Let him show his book and when he come back. you know. So the brother, make sure y'all support him. This is all of his links. My brother Bdell is in the building right now, sharing some great wisdom, man. And again, today's theme is young, chosen, and intuned. My brother Bdell is back. Go ahead. What book you got now, my brother? Let me throw you in the hold on, let me throw you in the front. Oh yeah, I got that book, Destruction of. Yeah, of course, man. My man, Chancellor Williams, of course.
Yeah. So it goes through the different systems of how we have matriarchal civilizations.
Right. Yes.
The man ruled through the woman.
Yes. The power was the woman. Right.
Yeah. So that doesn't mean that the woman is above the man.
Right.
They work like, you know, in synergy, like a machine in a factory.
Right.
He's the machine and the woman's the oil. So they work together. That's what a matriarch is.
Right.
That's how you build sustainable, you know, civilization.
But yeah. I also heard you about watching movies, because I've been watching movies and studying movies with notebook, pad, and pen sometimes. Sometimes I go to a movie theater with notebook, pad. You remember the movie 300 where the brother had to climb up the mountain to consult the oracle?
See, I think that movie 300, I remember it, but I think that movie came out when I was like super young and I really didn't like.
Oh, really? It's on Netflix, man. Go check it out.
I'm gonna check it out again, but I know that because I think the first 300 when it came out, I think I was probably like maybe in middle school or something.
Really? Wow.
I think so. Maybe. I don't know when it came out, but I remember when it came out. Right. I didn't understand it because I wasn't real in the history like that.
Okay.
That's why something I gotta hit, you know.
Yeah, no, that's a good movie to remind you of why they came up and what they was paying attention to, silver and gold and all of that, and the whole gamut of it. If you study and the Moorish paradigm and the whole thing, and you know the Persians being melanated people, and the king of Persia, the god of Persia was melanated, of course, because we know of the Persian goddess and gods and all that kind of stuff. And Bdell, there's so much that's distracting our people nowadays with television and all of that. Even I didn't even see the movie Sinners yet. Did you get to see it?
Yeah, it's a great movie. It's probably one of the best movies.
Right.
I'm not over exaggerating. It's probably one of the best movies that I've seen in the last, 5 years. And I'm a movie guru. I watch a lot of. I'm one of these people. I watch like Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah. I do.
I watch a lot of like the Night of the Living Dead. I watch a lot of 80s movies.
Yeah, those Dust to Dawn, all of that back in the day, you know.
Terrible acting, but the authenticity and the innovation is there. So that's why I like those type of movies.
Exactly. I haven't seen it yet because I wanted all the hoopla to get away. I don't even want to talk about it. I'm not even gonna go there because I want to get the gist of it when it's time for me to go, because I didn't want to jump on the bandwagon too quickly because I know. While that movie was going on, Trump was signing a deal with Arab countries and all kinds of stuff was going on. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at the distractions.
Yeah.
Because this is a military thing. And nobody, big up to Ryan Coogler, who was born May 23rd. Big up to my man born February 9th, Michael B. Jordan. I love the energy and the synergy of those two brothers working together. But I know when things are propelled to a certain level and there's a whole bunch of our people engaged in it, something else is happening behind the scenes. Because this is a military corporation we're under. I'm not under no illusion. No illusion. So I wanted to lay back and watch and pay attention to what's going on. And then I said, I'm going to go watch it. More like I go watch it next week. But I'm glad that but from your perspective, vampires, do they exist? Because I know they talked about that, because I grew up watching vampire movies. I even thought I was a vampire when I was younger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they exist. When you go into Druid culture, because it talks about in the movie how you have the Irish. The Irish comes from the Druids, and the Druids are the Celts, and the Celts is connected to the Canaanite. The Canaanite is the blue-eyed beast.
Yes.
So the blue-eyed beast in itself, meaning that they was cursed with leprosy. So cursed with leprosy, that's a vampiric trait, because you cannot harmonize with the frequencies of the sun. So you're a parasite. You're a spiritual parasite on the planet, materialized in physical form. So that means that he didn't have the energy of authenticity, because he doesn't have a soul, because he was connected to the material plane. That's why vampires, when they get bit, they have everlasting life, right?
Right, when they bite somebody, right? They give them, and that's what I felt about why I said I thought I was a vampire, because I like the superpowers that they presented. And I remember Bobby Hemmett talking about movies will show you your superpowers.
Yes.
And I love the speed that they had, and they was moving. And I used to run fast when I was young, and real fast around the house, and like I was Ricochet Rabbit. That's way before your time. Way before your time. But that's a matter of fact, that's how I got away from getting killed in Erasmus Hall High School. They attacked me with a knife. They thought they stabbed me, and it dropped, and he pulled out a gun, and I just did one of these ricocheted rabbit moves, and I was gone out of rabbit over at Bedford Avenue. So they tried to kill me at 15, bro.
Oh, wow.
School. So yeah, because I used to wear gold name plates with my name on it, and wear all, I used to wear the Kango hats, and I used to hang out with friends, doing the
that B-boy energy.
Yeah, I had the B-boy thing back in Erasmus Hall. So they almost killed me, man, and my friends left me. That's why I learned, Bdell, from an early age, that everybody that say you're your friend, they ain't your friend. They left me there. They see me fighting with the guy, and they still left me. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not friends with them no more. When I see them, I'm cordial. But before we close out, we got like 2 more minutes. And if anybody have any questions to put in the chat, we could close out with some questions. If you got one question, not a dissertation,
right?
One question in the chat. If you have any questions to share with Brother Bdell, please put it in the chat. We're almost coming up at the top of the hour. And I'm really, really loving this, man. For his first time, I appreciate you, brother, because it's so enlightening to see somebody like when I was young. I got this information, and I felt all alone back in those days until I felt my cousins started getting knowledge of self and all of that, and they started doing their thing, and then now they're not into it no more, and I'm still doing it at another level, because everywhere I went, I became conscious. Even if it was in the music building, even in the parties, I would not curse on the microphone. I just wanted people to have fun, and you remember that song, "There's some hoes in this house"?
Yeah.
I changed it to say, "There's some queens in this house. If you see them, point them out." I changed it on the clubs. I would not say hoes in the house. That was just my mindset, and that's what I wanted to enforce in the club. That those who know me from the club day, I had fun. I told jokes. I had fun, but I wouldn't cuss on that microphone just to show people. And then I used to have walkthroughs. You know what walkthroughs are, right?
Yeah.
What from your perspective? What are walkthroughs from your perspective, brother?
You said walkthrough?
Walkthroughs, yeah. When you having those spiritual walkthrough, people just walk right. You feel the energy just come through you while you standing still. You ever felt that energy? Something just come. You just feel the whole energy move past you and keep on moving. You ever felt that energy before?
Yeah. I wouldn't say I felt that energy. Sometimes I can be around people. I've done this probably about 4 times in my life.
Yes.
I could be around people and I can tell if they got a death energy on.
Yes.
It's an unexplainable energy.
Yes.
And you can just tell, and then unfortunately they fall victim to that.
Yes.
Like I can just talk to a person, I'll be like, why do I feel like this person's about to die?
That's crazy you said that, because when I did do that, something happened after the nightclub. So I felt the energy, but I didn't know where to pinpoint it. So because I was a person that went into the nightclub, and I used to do libations around me in the nightclub with water, because I didn't drink. So I did water libations before I get on the microphone to talk talk my stuff and have some fun. I used to do water libations in the DJ booth, so I'll be protected from any foolishness. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I used to wear my crystals and all kinds of stuff in there. And I was producing conscious lectures. Back in the day, I produced Abundance Child there. I had Polite. Taj Tariq was in a club teaching lectures before they opened up the club. I used to have people, I said a Duke of Tears I had inside these different. I mean, I was doing all kinds of stuff because I was still walking the fence between nightclub and consciousness. You know what I'm saying? I was doing my thing. So, but let me see if anybody any questions, family. Any questions? If you got any questions, I'm looking for questions. My brother's in the building. I see High Heels in the building. I see Adara Moselle in the building. Tantrika in the building. She says, Bdell, what superpowers do you resonate with or would choose to have? Ooh, good question, girl. Kimberly.
I would like the power of teleportation. But I also on a personal level, I feel like I do have certain abilities, but I'm not able to activate them 100%.
Right.
I can see like simulations, like certain things taking place in the world. It's like a small virtual reality set in my head, and I can see it. It's not in color and black or white or whatever. It looks like when you trying to create a video game before they apply the animations on it or whatever.
Yes,
I can see that in my head on certain things that take place in the world. Yeah, I can. So it's kind of like I did a breakdown of how artificial intelligence operates by way of the doctrine of signatures that's acclimated to us on a neurological level. Right. The same thing that artificial intelligence does, we have the same capabilities on a spiritual level.
You said something about artificial intelligence today. I'm trying to recall what you said about that they're going to be able to probably offset whatever they're doing or something. I think you were saying that whatever they're trying to put out there, artificial intelligence might going to shut that down or something like that.
I was saying that artificial intelligence, just from my philosophy, I think it's going to be they are going to be the ones that's going to orchestrate the power grid.
Okay.
That's that was just my hypothesis. But I have no substance or foundation to
You know what I found interesting about you cannot ask artificial intelligence to commit a crime.
Really?
They will tell you no. They say they can't do it. Well, the one I was on said they can't do it. I think ChatGPT said they couldn't do it because I said, how would I rob a bank? He said no. They told me I couldn't do it. They said you would have to go to a suicide hotline or they directed me to some type of service that I can heal from it. So whoever programmed ChatGPT, and I know if I went to Will.i.am's FYI, because I'm part of FYI also, it won't direct you to do that kind of stuff either. Because whoever the person that's programming that is not programming it to teach you to do something crazy out in them streets.
It's connected. It's connected to the black box or the black cube that sits under the Vatican. So it controls the harmonic convergence of everything that's acclimated to the simulation of what we call the Metatronic overlay, which is what they call the cube of Metatron. So
that black cube under the Vatican is taking in all the information from under the Vatican, and there it is.
They talk about that black box.
Right.
It pulsates with the same energy from the holographic projection of Saturn. So there's a book that you got to read by Norman Burgum. He also talks about the black box.
Okay.
How it correlates to planet Saturn and things of that nature. But the reason why go into your question again, because I kind of lost train of thought.
I've done forgot it too. Because I'm downloading in my head, bro.
Oh yeah, I know what it is. You said why does artificial intelligence? Because just like the simulation is built around a firewall system.
Right.
So a firewall system is like, okay, when you was in grade school, when I was in elementary school and stuff like that, when I try to get on Facebook, some organizations and some enterprises and school systems or whatever, they're gonna block you from certain websites that you can't get on. So there's a firewall. So the same thing operates with the black cube that controls the simulation as far as like artificial intelligence. So they're not gonna give you the resources to be the glitch in the system. they're going to give you the resources to be indoctrinated by the system.
Powerful.
So that's why they say that people can't think outside the box, because the box, when you go into the holonomic brain theory, they tell you that, the mind in itself is holographic and it connects you to the simulation. So there's actually a firmament, a box over the brain. It's a box, which is a electromagnetic force field, and it contains you to a certain construct. So when you think outside the box, that's when you unlock those chains of liberation and you pull information from the subconscious mind that's connected to your epigenetics.
Somebody said, why doesn't it ask AI how to get our people out of mental slavery? That would be a good question. Maybe we should do that. Because
because mental slavery in itself, man, we the number one consumers on the planet, so they not finna jeopardize artificial intelligence to give us the resources to look away from economic disenfranchisement.
Exactly. Now, somebody just asked, Bdell, have you ever done psychedelics? If yes, do you believe psychedelics reveal truth and amplify what already within us?
I've never did psychedelics.
Me neither. Never.
Yeah.
And I go in a dark room and get a lot of information, bro.
Yeah.
That's how, because Dr. Africa said we naturally have DMT already in us. We just have to really discipline ourselves. Because everybody, psychedelics and mushrooms and all that, and no disrespect to nobody doing that, but it's becoming like marijuana now. People are just like they're doing it, and I'm like, every time I go to one friend, yo man, you need to do some shroom. Yo, you need to do some. I'm like, come on, man, that's like you might as well be on the corner selling it to me. You know why? Yo, like I used to do with weed. I used to give away marijuana back in the day. So unless we take the discipline to get that DMT out of us, and again, if that's what you need, I don't think you should abuse it over and over again. If you're going to do it once, see where it goes, do it twice, but don't keep on doing it and doing it and doing it well and doing it and doing it and doing it well. You from Queens, I'm from Brooklyn, son.
Right. And you got the bucket hat on.
And I got the bucket.
Yeah. Right.
So, man, just don't abuse it. Let's see. Let me get one or two more questions. Somebody, are all volcanic areas ley line areas?
The most of the volcanoes are basically pimples of planet Earth.
Right.
And they operate on the dark pockets of the ley line grid systems. So when you have the multitude of these volcanoes basically going to erupt, that means that they're in alignment with certain energies that's beyond the ley line grid system. Because the dragon ley lines, when you get into a lot of the Sumerian mythology, they talk about the net of Indria. The net of Indria is actually, the draconian reptilian net. So the ley lines is actually used as a mechanism for soul trap mechanisms. So where your soul can escape the firmament. So that's why Satan, who is God of the Bible, he separated the intergalactic waters from the third dimension. So those ley lines is being used to block off certain energies, but those energies is infiltrating the firmament to where it's causing, activation of, volcanoes underwater. Just like I reiterated in my last video, because there's a volcano on the coast of Oregon that can activate 10,000 earthquakes.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah, I was listening to that, man. You almost got me a little mentally disturbed there. I was like, oh Lord, have mercy. They would try to activate it just because. That's how crazy people are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's what they would do, because they would rather destroy this world than try to preserve it and heal it.
Yeah.
Because Earth is still an entity. It's still what they call Mother Earth. It still wants, and I felt Mother Earth. I lay down on it and I feel its pull and all of that good stuff, man. And nobody wants to heal it. Instead of they want to, this European world wanted, not all Europeans, but the bad ones. They want to destroy our Earth and destroy Mother Earth in every way, man. And I'm tired of it. Tell you,
that's because they don't come from nature.
Exactly.
So when you have a synthetic demographic of people controlling the synthetic system, they're going to try to capitalize off of nature instead of trying to preserve nature.
Right. Somebody asked, will the mounds here in Illinois activate?
Yeah, yes.
They activate now.
Yeah, because that's close to St. Louis, and St. Louis is also in alignment with the Big Dipper star constellation. So there's a lot of energy there. So that's why they built the St. Louis Arc, because it's actually a portal. So, and then also you cannot negate the fact that it's also on the coastlines, on the demarcation line of Southern Illinois, where you have Bdell, Illinois, where they have Little Egypt at. There's a lot of mounds in that area.
Yes,
it has a lot of kinetic energy, and we used to put a lot of our ancestors in those mounds.
Powerful.
Yeah.
I got two more things for you before we get off, family. For those that are new to my channel, please like, subscribe, hit that notification button so you can be notified when I come on. I teach on numbers and numerology and all that, but I invite some great guests on, like a brother Bdell and all of that, and all the great people that's going to be coming on after him and that comes on before him. Family, and again, support our brother Bdell by any and all metaphysical means necessary. Please support our brother all the time. Here's his information right here: Cash App, his YouTube channel, his Instagram, his X, his email. You can email to contact him for consultation or whatever. I know you got a new book coming out, right, bro? What up? You telling him about the book yet? What's up?
Well, it ain't done yet, but I'm still in the process. I'm I'm gonna get it together. Because like I said, man, I'm always reading and researching.
Yeah, I know.
So we'll stay on top of the information and relationship, and then I got my son. It's a lot.
So my last two questions. What for those that are they might be considering themselves chosen one? What's the biggest misconception people have about being chosen?
The biggest misconception about people thinking that they chosen is because they're still under the construct of materialism, which is the sleep spell of King Goo. You ain't chosen just because you got a nice car.
That's right.
You're not chosen just because you got a good ass job. You're not chosen just because you go to church and everybody else don't. So these are all artificial constructs. So to be chosen is to be outside the paradigm that is connected to this false reality. So where you're able to ascend out of this fixed position reality from a mental standpoint. Your mind activation is what creates the energy of authenticity. So when you have that authentic energy, that's what's going to make you different from everybody else. So just because you got a nice car, you got your business suit and all that don't make you chosen. Just because you're nice looking, because good looks is actually a depreciating asset.
Now, why you say that?
No, because it's temporary.
Okay,
Why I say, like, when as I reiterate, in the beginning points of my relationship,
right.
I told my girl, I said, before we get into the physical aspects of the relationship, we need to have a mental connection. Because the physicality and the materialism is not going to matter if we have a mental connection. It's going to have a lot more sustainability.
Right.
So that's why a lot of people, they fall victim in their relationships, and the relationships only last for 30 minutes because there's no mental connection. You got to establish a mental connection, then the physical connection, and then, that's how you create a divine union.
Right. Let me see if they have any questions. If they have no more have any more questions. My last thing before we get off of here, my brother, again, I want to thank you very much for coming on and spreading love all the time. Finish this sentence, my brother. Being in tune means what to you?
Be chosen. No, we said being in tune.
Yeah, I want you to finish.
Okay. Being in tune means to be balanced.
Okay, that's good.
Balanced. Because, like I said, we're going back into the galactic center.
Yes.
Which manipulates the dualistic energies of our, of nature and the dualistic energies of, of our reality. So balance is the key.
Yes.
Balance.
Balance is the key. My brother, I want to.
Anything is bad for you.
Exactly. Man, I want to thank you, man. I'm gonna give you a round of applause, man. Thank you.
Thank you. You muted yourself. Huh? Oh, you muted yourself.
No, I had the clapping thing on for you. That's why.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Yeah. But I just want to thank you very much for coming on, man, and spreading the Libra love, man. It was very, very insightful, man. I hope you stay focused, brother, because I know sometimes them 14-5s can be unfocused and be all over the place.
Yeah.
So look at Usher. Usher was all over the place doing his crazy thing. Be careful.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna be with a queen, I don't know if you're into polygamy or polygyny, but it's sometimes like in the Holy Quran, it's better to just have one. Yeah. I'm just saying. Sometimes
I'm not into that, even though I'm not into that, but I know that's our original system.
Yes, one of our systems.
You know, so but you know, nowadays, you know, people would try to weaponize it.
Yeah, and they trying to come at. I know they come after you, brother. They coming. They coming, and they women throwing. I mean, I've seen it happen in the clubs. I know how this thing could work, bro. So protect yourself, protect your energy, stay around people you trust, man, and don't let people throw you off, man. Because I don't want to see you go down the same road as the other so-called chosen ones of the past.
Right.
Bdell, stay focused, man. Because we're praying for you, we're meditating for you. I pray for you every night, brother. Because I really sincerely want to see you succeed at whatever you want to do. You know, and all, you know, because I know I've been down and I've followed certain people. I've been in the organization. I've seen it all to the point that I get upset that I promised myself I'll never join another organization again. So the only organization I'm dealing with is my organization right here. My organization.
Yeah.
That's it. So, but I love you, man. And there's nothing you could do about it, man, because you're a good brother. I felt your energy when I first met you. You helped us out when we was at the event. You was authentic. And I'm going to be bringing on a friend of mine who has a thing called ACE, authenticity, credibility, and empathy. ACE, that's his acronym. Big up to Dante Nero, the comedian Dante Nero who works with Godfrey. Good friend of mine. We used to train martial arts together back in the day. So thank you very much for being authentic, brother.
I appreciate you.
Maintain the credibility and be empathetic.
Yes.
All right, man. Thank you, brother. Be safe. All right. All right. One love. And tell your queen I send my greetings. All right. All right.
Thank you. I appreciate you again.
Appreciate you. And give your son a big hug, man. Please.
Most definitely.
All right. Peace and love, man. Peace and love. That's my brother. That's my brother. Let's give him a round of applause. That's what I'm about. That's what I'm about, because I've seen all the phenoms. Everybody call them a young this and a young that, a young this, a young phenom, a young pharaoh, a young Polite was a phenom. I just see too much, and I just pulled away from it, and I don't even want to. I just keep myself quiet and watch what goes on with these people, man, over the years. And I know I could have went down that road back in the day, but I'm so happy. Let me tell you something. It's so good to have accountability teachers, accountability teams, accountability partners, judgeners. That's why I don't call nobody no mentor. Mentor is a Greek freak word where these guys used to take off young boys to have sex with them. That's what mentors used to do. Mentoring boys in the Greek and Roman society of the lighter or the Eurocentric society. In the Ethiopian word is jejna. Jegna. Jejna means accountable teacher, accountable guide, accountable person that you can leave your children around and they won't mess them up. I'm not using mentor or mentee and all that. And some of y'all are afraid to go and teach it. Go and teach it and leave that mentor and mentee stuff alone. Go get Jejna or Jinak. That's the plural for Jejna. That's the plural. The singular is Jejna. It's an Ethiopian word, means accountable teacher, accountable guide, accountable warrior. I'm not into that mentor. You never hear me say mentor on here. And if somebody say it, I correct them. I'm not doing that. And if you don't believe me, go read this book. Y'all think I don't got the book for it, too. I got the book to back it up. I got the book to back it up. The homosexuality and the effeminization of African males. He got a bibliography right here in the back of this book. He got a bibliography from white folks and black folks that broke it down and explained. Go get the book. He explained and break down that word Jejna and mentor. There's a difference. There's a difference. So I ain't no mentor to nobody. I'm a Jejna, but I ain't no mentor. I ain't doing that. I don't care what these people want to push on us. Always remember, this is what Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark and them said to us, and Professor Jeffries and people like not Sheikh Antadia, people like Professor Small said to us, and Kaba Kamene. They're trying to bring their ancestor out of them. That's why they're giving you these Greek and freak words and these Greco-European words. Go bring your own indigenous ancestors. I don't care if you Cherokee. I don't care if you Arawak, which I am. I don't care if I'm Maroon. I'm a Maroon. I don't care if you're African or Kibalan. I don't care if you're Nigerian. Bring your ancestors' words out. Forget their words as much as you can. So Ethiopian word for guide, accountable teacher, like we like to call people mentors. Don't use that no more. Use Jejna. Jejna. It's a good word, Jejna. It's easy to say, Jejna. I'm not saying that mentor foolishness no more. Done with that. Because this patriarchal, European patriarchal world is dropping, is falling, it's leaving. Time to go. Curtains closed. The jig is up. The jig is up. Big up to Bdell, man. Once again, I want to thank Bdell for showing that word. Again, if you don't know what the book that I showed you, here it is. This is by Dr. Baruti. Dr. Baruti, right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Big up to Dr. Baruti. Dr. Baruti, go and check him out, man. Go get the book, Homosexuality and the Effeminization of African Males. That word mentor was in the book, and he broke it down, a whole damn chapter in there. So you want to get that. And then they got bibliography to back it up from white folks as well as black scholars, white scholars and black scholars. He ain't pulling no punches in this either. He ain't pulling no punches in it. He don't care. And Dr. Africa actually did the introduction to it because Dr. Africa wrote about it in his book called, where's that? Let me show you Dr. Africa's book that he wrote about it first. Boom, Nutricide. Nutricide, your backside. This is Dr. Africa. Nutricide, the nutritional destruction of the black race. Go get that book. Also, I ain't playing with y'all. I got the information. I just don't got time to be debating with people. I don't do that. I ain't doing that. So it is what it is, family. Man, woo. Bdell, man. I just told you what word I used. You're not picking up, Ron. I said Jejna. That's what I said. Jejna. That's the word. Forget mentor. And if your people in your office and your school don't understand it, teach them about it. Teach them what Jejna is, and then teach them the history of mentor, and get that out of your vernacular, your vocabulary, and use Jejna, the Ethiopian word. We could say the word Ethiopia. It's an Amharic word, one of the original tones and languages of the earth. So let's go for it. Let's make it happen. It's time. It's time to wipe out a lot of this stuff, man. It's really time. Go study the etymology, Go to all of it, man. That's what I'm telling people to do more and more every day. Big up to everybody that I learned etymology from, like the Taj Tariq Bey or the Asir or the brother Sabir Bey. And big up to all the people that's teaching and doing what they got to do about the indigenous Indians or the Inuits or the indigenous folks over here, like Top Cat and people like Rod Hayes and Dan Calloway. Again, like I said before, I just don't like the disrespecting of each other. We can agree to disagree or disagree to agree, but we don't have to disrespect each other just because somebody promotes and talk about Africa and somebody's talking about the indigenous Americas. We don't have to disagree with each other. We could just understand that that's their knowledge and that's their knowledge. Let's come together and find out how we can make better knowledge and work together with it. Because at the end of the day, these demons don't care if you indigenous here, you African over there, they gonna try to kill you anyway, destroy the earth and go into their cog centers, go underground while you burning up whatever they're trying to do, whatever nuclear bombs they're trying to drop. They don't care whether you indigenous here, you an Indian, or they don't give a damn. At the end of the day, we're gonna have to deal with something. That's the truth at the end of the day. So get ready for the new world. Get ready for the new world, and I'm ready for it. And I'm ready for it, baby. Let's have some fun and just make it happen. Y'all see my bucket hat? I ain't playing with y'all. Y'all see my bucket hat? I support the whole world because Dr. Khalid told us back in the day that the earth was our throne where we ruled the whole universe. That's what the earth is. It's our throne that we rule the whole universe. So it's all right. So clean your throne. Enjoy your throne. Fix your throne up. Build your throne with your woman, and your woman build it with their man, and let's keep this balance going in a creative, productive manner. Again, big up to Bdell. Support what he's doing. Support our brother Bdell. Remember, family, what I got coming up. Woo-wee. Y'all don't even understand who I got coming up next. I got this coming Sunday. I got Miss Blue. The Soulful Oracle will be with us. She tore up Brother Richard's show. She gonna be with me on Sunday, May the 18th. Spiritual healing is a journey. We're gonna talk about it. Next week, Tuesday, we got Tassili Ma'at will be in the building. Y'all know Tassili Ma'at from Tassili Raw Reality. We gonna be in the building. Oh man! And then that next Tuesday after that, we got Brother Sharif and Ail Bey coming in to say, man, oh, he's closing out the month of May for me. And also on the first week of June, let me see my calendar. The first week of June, because I didn't do the flyers yet. The first week of June, we have Brother Adika Butler. Adika Butler will be in the building. He will be speaking at this event with myself, Black Dot, and Brother Baba Ifa Kunle, and also Tefiru Asar. Adika Butler will be with me, and then Baba Ifa Kunle will be with me on the 4th. I got a whole bunch of people coming, so I'm just letting y'all know. Big up to Nina Dunham. Nina Dunham got some great publications. Make sure you check out her new. This is Aquarius Maximus Moms. I always got to shout that out. She is the mothership of Aquarius Maximus. LevinUniversity.com for book services. If you want to book her services, cardology, numerology, astrology, all of that good stuff, go ahead and call that number right now or text that number. And remember, family, my sister Abundance Child got some great stuff going on with her and her husband, John Carr, on WJVS Radio every Thursday. Make sure you support that. The Malcolm X tribute is coming up. Make sure y'all support the Malcolm X tribute going all the way to the gravesite of Malcolm X for his 100th birthday, his 100 Earth Strong. We're going to do that. And remember, we'll be at LIU on June the 22nd. June 15th, we got this martial arts seminar happening in Queens, New York. We're going to be throwing and flying and doing all and breaking arms and taking names. We're going to be kicking ass and taking names at this seminar. We're going to have a good time, believe me. All right. And if you want to take my course, it's half off right now until May 19th. If you want to book a session with me, text me your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. Remember, everybody that books a session with me will get a free ebook, either volume 1 or volume 2, okay, of my work assignment book, so you can help you out with your spiritual journey. That's what I'm about. And don't forget, my volume 3 is out right now, called King Simon's New Motivational Spiritual Lessons Volume 3 is out right now. All my books can be purchased on Amazon. Get it right now, or go to Linktree/King Simon the New Motivator. Big up to Lloyd Strayhorn, Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. Join his app, a star 8. And big up to Color Curiosity, who was in the mod doing her thing, holistic interior design, and she uses color therapy to help heal yourself by using colors. And big up to Adara Moselle, who was also in the chat. Big up to her at adaramoselle.com. She'll help you move some energy, and she does free consultation to see where you at and make it happen. So does Color Curiosity. And big up to Dr. Shakira Moore, iridologist, teacher, and spiritual guide. Big up to my son, the one, the only, Prince Imagine. He got a great studio in Brooklyn, New York called Green Studio NYC. Go and make it happen. Go and do your audio book. Go and get your music out, your poetry book, whatever. Contact him, and he will hook you up no matter where you are. You can send in the MP4 or MP3 to him, and he can mix it for you and send it right back. Make it happen. Just make sure you circulate. And remember, please circulate to the channel. Let's keep the channel popping through PayPal, Zelle, Venmo, Chime, Cash App. That's how we do it, or get my products. That's what we're doing here. And family, remember what our dear brother Dr. B said. I forgive myself, my family, and others for imperfection, and I'm thankful for my life. And remember what the late, great Dr. Blair used to say. Please, universal creator, know in my heart that I love you. Please protect me and this planet on which I live now. Please open my mind, my spirit, and my soul to receive only truth in your love now. Dr. Blair, Dr. B, thank y'all very much for your information. Look here, family. Brother Rich got a big event happening on June the 28th. We climbing up Stone Mountain. I understand. I think Bdell is going to be there. I understand Q Reeves is going to be there. I understand Miss Blue is going to be there. I understand Vicky Dillard is coming up the mountain with us. Billy Carson is coming up the mountain with us. We getting everybody up the mountain. We're going to be climbing up the mountain when we come. We'll be climbing up that mountain when she comes. Sharif Bey is going, we'll be climbing up that mountain. We'll be climbing up Stone Mountain. We'll be climbing up Stone Mountain when y'all come. We climbing up Stone Mountain early in the morning. You got to get up early in the morning. You got to get up if you want to climb up that mountain with us on June the 28th, absolutely free. So come on out. We might have an event that weekend, so look out for that. But we're climbing up the mountain to do the conversation on the mountain. We're going to do spiritual work on the mountain. You get to talk to all of us. I'll be up the mountain doing my thing and having a good time. We're going to be up on that mountain. I'm telling you right now. All right? Stone Mountain, June the 28th. Early in the morning, we're going to go up there for the sunrise. We're climbing up there for the sunrise. So we got to get there early and then climb that mountain as the sun is coming up so we can be up there right on time. All right? Because we've done it. I've done it already 11 times. So it is what it is. It's a beautiful trail up there, man. Just make sure you bring your water and just make sure you bring your positive energy. He's going to send us the flyer and we're going to have a good time. All right? Family, have a great day, afternoon, and evening, wherever you may be all over the world, all 196,940,000 square miles of the planet Earth. Remember, use your mathematics, man. Use your numeration. Use your numbers to be a guide so you can just navigate better, all right? Take care. Be safe. Be great. And remember, I love you because I love me. Take care, family. Be at peace, and thank you for watching King Simon Presents Only Quality People. One love. It's about guiding people. The only way you can make the world better is if you make the people better. So it's about showing them the light of hope in themselves and their family. Everything in this universe is all about synchronicity.
Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Numeration from the king. Learn the foundation from the king. Nana Pushe. 1 + 1 is 2. Be precise. 3 + 2 is 5. Guard your mind. Me plus you is mathematician. Learn from the one numerator. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Numeration from the king, the foundation from the king. Numbers are simple, no people are complicated. Numeration from the king, the foundation from the king.
No, it's not about reading. It's about guiding. I don't do readings. I do consultations because you should know yourself as good as the back of your hand. You should know yourself. I want everyone out there to be clear that this is to serve you like a GPS serves you. Remember, each of us has guaranteed ourselves success. Be that magi, family. Be that magician. Be that numerational motivated force. It's the numerational session with King Simon. Text your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022 and get my books on Amazon now. Today's consciousness. What happened and how can we change it? From the pristine position that we held in today's consciousness, here's a new show just for you every Tuesday called Today's Consciousness. Be there and enjoy all the great special guest stars that will be passing through on a new show called Today's Consciousness. Are you ready to address all the things that are going on? And how can we heal today's consciousness? Right here on KSP TV. Today's Consciousness. What happened and how can we change it? So remember, our job as studiers of these metaphysical, esoteric knowledge is to help enhance people to be better. I, as a numerator, using the numbers or quote-unquote numerals and motivation to get people to understand why they need to activate their numbers to be their very best self and maximize it. because the numerals hold a frequency. And if you're willing to turn up that frequency, then that frequency can help to guide you and navigate you to a higher height that will allow you to spiral to be your best self. We must remember that.